Okay, so once I have my 1/4 unit designed, now what I want to do is just make sure I have what I want to carve away out of my linoleum block and what I want to leave. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to color in the areas that I want to stay raised up on the linoleum block. Okay, so this area here, this little round circle, I'm going to keep that raised up. And the reason I'm coloring those areas in is because they will eventually get ink. Okay, when we do our relief printing with our linoleum block, they will get ink and be the part that holds the ink and transfers it to the paper. The areas we're going to leave white on our design are the areas we're going to carve down into on the linoleum block, and they will not get ink. Okay, so once you have your whole area colored in, you can call me over. And when I take a look at your design, I'm looking for a few things. First, I'm looking to make sure you did it in pencil. That's going to be necessary for the next step for the transfer process. I'm also looking to make sure that you have plenty of detail, that it's not a super simple design. I'm also looking to make sure that you are drawing in shapes instead of just lines. You don't want it to be too liney, because that's not gonna work out very well when you start carving, similarly to the stencil. Okay, and I'm also looking to make sure that you have a balance between white and your colored in areas. And you can also have some textured areas. So these like lines that I'm doing here, and I might even add more lines when I go to carve. This is going to add some texture and some interesting detail to our print. Okay, so I'm looking for a balance between white and black and textured areas. All right, so now what I want to do is I'm going to take my piece of transfer paper and I'm going to put it on top of my design, and I'm just going to trace the outline. You don't have to do all the coloring in this time. I'm just going to trace my outline, all the areas, all the shapes. All right, now you're going to take your transfer, okay? You're going to flip it over onto your linoleum block, and then you're just going to rub it. This is called burnishing, where you rub something in order to transfer something else. I'm using the edge of this ruler, but you could use a stone, you could use the side of your pencil might work. This. You're trying to press hard enough that you get all those pencil markings transferred onto your linoleum block. Okay, and the better control you have of your, try not to shift this around when you're doing it, because you really want it to transfer nicely. Okay, and then we're ready to start carving. All right, so now I'm ready to carve out my linoleum block. And a couple things. So this is the cutter that you use, okay, and it has these different attachments, depending on the type of cut that you're going for, or how big or how small. And you can see this one is a very sort of narrow V cut. It's the other side, the non-sharp side. This is the side that's going to go into the tool, okay? So regardless of the type of cut, see, this is the side that cuts. It's very sharp. And the other side always looks the same. It's like a little scoop, okay? It's the scoop side that goes into the tool. And let's see if I can show this. So we've got the ball in the middle, okay? And the scoop side of this is going to go between that little ball and the loose part on the outside, okay? So right in between, and then it just tightens. So let me show that one more time. Okay, so there's the ball, and then there's these parts around the outside, and it wants to fit right between that metal ball and those loose parts, okay? Right between, and then you just tighten it down, and then you're good to go, okay? So, and like I said, you probably want to start with the detailed one. Take off the material that is closest to your lines, and then if you have big open areas, you can use the broader sort of scoop, okay? And you want to just make sure that you're not going down, you're not trying to carve through the linoleum blocks. So this is a very common problem, is that kids go too deep, okay? So I would say, you know, 1/8 of an inch deep, go 1/8 of an inch, and then see how it goes. You can always take more material off. You can always take it down further, but you can't add the material back on. Okay, so that's the problem here, is that if you do go too deep, you can cut a hole in it, and then, well, you've ruined it. There's no way to fix a hole that goes all the way through. So I will just slowly over time, and this is the part you just want to be so careful, make sure that you know which parts you're cutting away and which parts you're leaving behind. And like I said, I am really, I'm doing my outlines with this very fine cut tool, and then I'll go back in with the broader scoop tool to take out more material, okay? All right, so then we want to just, once you think you have it pretty well, I'm not done yet, right? I'm not done, but I do want to print it just to see, I want to stamp it and see which areas I'm missing, okay? And we'll talk about the printing and how to, I'll go over all the ink stuff later. All right, so I can see I still have some work to do. I want to carve more white into it. I also want a little more texture in some places. I can also see see these little points sticking out? These boxes are a little bit messy, so I want to really clean those up. Some of these areas out here I'm not happy with. I want to clean those up. So you want to just kind of look and see how it's shaping up, and so that you can fix things, okay? Ta-da! So that's the idea, right? That's why, so that you're working out of the corner so that you have this cool image in the middle. It's like kind of exploding out of the center. That's the whole radial symmetry idea. So as you can see, I do have more cleaning up to do on my linoleum block still. There's more that I could do, cutting away a little bit here and there to make it all cleaner. But dang, it's already looking pretty good, right?